Test 1 2, test 1 2. I moved my microphone. Testing, because the mouse was making a lot of noise, and I wanted to test the volume level. Of course, that's going to have to be up to the viewer. So anyway, I thought what might be fun, since I have this long-standing beef with shipping containers that nobody knows about, my beef, I thought I would take the tiny shack and compare it to a shipping container. Okay, so let's do that. What I was going to do is, I know the 20 footer's out already, just because I know my plan is 24 feet long, but I thought it would be fun to go ahead and I'm going to group these together, and we'll learn a little bit about SketchUp as we go along. So I'm going to make a group, and what that allows me to do is go inside that group now and do a section. And then you see the group is localized, and that'll allow me just to cut this down. I just wanted you to see the shipping containers first, and we'll turn off section planes, and then we will turn off the roof. And turn on the floor plan. Let's turn off the, scary, just so we can see the framing. So if you don't know, I'm building this tiny shack I'm going to live in the woods, and yes, I'm going to frame it up. It's going to be really easy. Certainly a lot easier than waiting and then getting a shipping container on the site. So that's one thing. I can haul all these materials in the back of my truck up here, which has a longer bed than this toy bed right here. That's always been a beef of mine, why new truck makers don't put the longer. I had to order the bed for my truck because it was too short. It was a toy bed. Anyway, I digress. So what I thought I would do is take this plan. Let's copy. This is the air conditioner sticking out down here, and copy it over just for the fun of it. And then we're going to, actually what I'm going to do is put it right here. I'm going to lay it over first just to show you the massiveness of the tiny shack and the difference. Okay, so that's just a quick graphic resemblance. And you're like, I know what you're going to say, well, look at all this extra room I have down here. Okay, we're going to look at that. Okay, so we're going to move this over here, and then we're going to take these items out and move them one at a time. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take this bed. Let's not copy them, let's just take them. That way I can keep up easier with what I've taken over there. So now this is not a king size bed, okay? It's just a full size bed. Okay, so let's just say, and I've seen some people turn them this way, which is fine. I think that's probably not a good use of space, because then you can take your bedside table, which you have to have. You can't live, it should be against the law to live without a bedside table. You just got to put your stuff there. You know, you got to put your glasses, your keys, or your flashlight, your whatever it is, your alarm clock, your phone. You can't live without a bed. Cause the reason I'm saying this is because I know people are gonna, the people who are like, what would be the term, rabid shipping container fans are going to say, oh, you don't need that, you don't need that. So anyway, then we're going to take this whole kitchen And this is like a closet cabinet. It's it's as tall as a. And we're just going to stick it right there for a minute. I will turn on the bunk bed to show how I have one plan. Yeah, this plan where I've got all these groups where I'm going to build in case Barrett or Alex wants to come and hang out and we'll roast marshmallows one night and come up here and they can stay. Anyway, it's just be fun to have a bunk there. But then that cabinet, I haven't gotten all this stuff drawn in 3D yet. But that cabinet is going to be. I need to move this stuff down, don't I? Am I in there? It's funny when you got certain layers turned on, it's harder to grab groups. That's why I'm grabbing the air conditioner sticking out over there. I think I need to leave about 30 inches for this. Just in case I get a wider refrigerator, I'm going to leave 32. Ooh, I guess I'm not getting a wider refrigerator. Anyway, I'll work out this detail. I thought I left 30 inches. Yeah. So, anyway, this is a minor detail I'll work out later. Okay, now you're going to have some place to eat. So here's let's go back into this. Let's put this over here. Well, I wasn't going to copy it, was I? I was just going to move it. That way we can see things being subtracted. Okay. Wow. First evidence of trouble. Now here's the thing, okay? I don't even have, one thing I should have done was, you're going to have at least a 2-inch thickness out of this. Let's just go in here. Let's draw a rectangle from here. And I know what people are going to say now. Oh, you don't have to do that. Well, yeah, you will. Is that not? Why is that funky? I'm going to have to do it like that. It was wanting to reference something that I didn't want to reference. I want to put it over there. And then we'll have to put this back here. And I'm just going to draw a border of where, so I'll know where the walls would be. I'm going to give y'all the benefit of the doubt and do it right there. Now, you're going to have at least 2.5 inches out of this. You'd have to have at least 1.5 inches framing, if you turned your 2x4 sideways, and then a 1/2 inch of drywall. So that's 2. Wow. Is that really 2? 2.5. Let's make this a group. Now we can 2. Wow. I'm going to go ahead and put a material on that too, just to make it stand out. We'll just put a wood grain in there like that. Now that looks huge, and I see that's what I'm talking about in these shipping containers. When I was talking about this before, where, let's grab this. There we go. I mean, I know a guy who's tall enough and has a wingspan. He can literally reach from one side or the other. Someone was texting me. Somebody wanted to look at our house. It's for sale. See, I got to sell this house and then got to move up there. Well, I got to move up there first. Anyway, so now we have this other constraint we're looking at. Okay, what I need to do is get this stuff out of here, cut, and get it in to this group. Paste in place. Now we're all inside the same group. We're hunky-dory. And why is my floor plan not showing up? You're not supposed to have issues when you're doing a live stream. Section planning. Is my floor plan just up in the air? Is that what it is? Yeah. How did that happen? Oh, I know what it is. This tiny shack is up off the ground higher than the shipping container. So it was. Right, let's turn that. That's what I thought it was. Turn. Okay, now. Okay, now we're good. All right, so now we're looking at, we got our cabinets pretty close. That was a pretty good guess. We're going to go ahead and move them over and give it the benefit of the doubt, as if it would be against the wall. Okay. Now you can tell yourself you don't need this table, and we're going to go ahead, just for the fun of it, give it another benefit of the doubt. And you're going to say, well, I don't need all that room. Okay, well, you need something to, you need something. And maybe what you do is you just have a 2-foot counter over here. But what I'm trying to demonstrate is the limited space you have. Okay, here, even to the table, if you measure to there, it's 2'3". And somebody. Okay, sorry. So we got our lopsided table chairs. All right, so we're trying to give the benefit as we go. Now here, when you get up in the morning, you're only going to have, what, 3 feet there? 2 foot, you have 32 inches there, the space. So when you get up and you bump into the wall, don't blame me because you didn't build your own tiny shack instead, okay? Now, here's the other thing. You're going to have to turn your bathroom, and we'll deal with this washer and dryer in a minute. I'm still trying to give the benefit of the doubt. So now you're going to have to probably turn the toilet this way. Okay, and you'd have some kind of wall here. Hopefully. I don't know if I'm going to go into this much detail or not. I think I'm going to be able to make my point. And I don't want to lay out a floor plan for somebody to use. They'll be like, oh, I like that floor plan for the shipping container. I will have defeated my purpose. But you're going to have to, before I do that, I'm just going to show you, you couldn't really walk by this because, I mean, you could if you were a skinny feller, if you were a skinny Bob, you'd have to have a wall there, and then you'd only have 1'10". Okay, so I'm going to redo, oh wait, no. I was going to redo the turning of that, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. Let's see, that's not what I wanted to do. But we'll do it anyway. So, alright, so you got your bathroom. So this whole zone right here, I guess it wouldn't be too much trouble to put a wall in here. Now, I'm not suggesting this floor plan. All I'm trying to do is put stuff that I have and show you the difference. You need at least a 30-inch door here. That's what we normally put in bathrooms. You can get by with a 24-inch door, but I'm going to show that. And then I'm going to go ahead and show, you would have a, see here, I'm doing exactly what I didn't want to do. See, that's a little too close. It would have to be at least right there. You'd have to have 30 inches between your sink. Did I get close? Yeah, I got pretty close. And you just do that. And then this would come, oops, no. This would come back. And then you'd have another wall. You'd have this wall down there. Okay. I'll not get the, okay. I know everybody's like, oh, that's a cool plan. I'm going to do that with my shipping container. Well, no, you can't do that. It's copyrighted. Plus, I'm trying to talk you into doing this. Okay, so then you would have this back here for like storage or utility room. Now I'm using this little, there's a little apartment size washer and dryer that I'm just going to stick in there. But you could use this for clothes storage or whatever. Okay. Now, you know, if you wanted to make it tight, if you wanted to make your whole life tight, you could, am I in there? Yeah, you could do this. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to answer what the critics, I know. Let's see, wait a minute. This could go right here, oops. I didn't mean to copy it, but to move it. That could go right there. This could go like that, and then okay, where's my, I'm still having to click on this thing. What it's doing is it's clicking on the, I'm clicking on the shipping container floor instead of the floor plan I want to be in. So if you wanted to create a tight bedroom area, you could have a cabinet closet like that. And you know, again, this is just, you know, 20 minutes of layout. But what I'm trying to show you is that now where's your work area? I guess this could double as your work area. Look at me, I'm going to have this all figured out. This is what I have right here. This is how I know the stuff works. Right? I don't design things that don't work. Okay? I usually will use something that I've done in the past. Okay? It's funny, it's like I'm making a case for shipping containers because I'm showing how it can be done. But what I'm trying to show you is that but I'm going to show you something in a minute that's going to change your mind. So, but now look at the bonus. I still have this extra. This little table right here is at the end of my normal desk. What I do is I take these are 2 foot by 4 foot tables, and they're just these plastic, you know, tables you get at Office Depot, metal legs that fold up. Okay, and I just put them in an L-shaped configuration. And I even have, I think these are bolted together so they don't move around. I bolt them together underneath, you know, right there to make an L. It makes a really nice little configuration. But I don't know where I forgot this chair was in there. That's the old chair. That one wasn't big enough for my butt, so I had to put a bigger one in there. So now, let's look at our clearances. I mean, you could do this. If I gave you the benefit of the doubt and I said, okay, we're just going to use a smaller table, you know, to eat or whatever, and then you'd have to find some place for your water heater. This is a propane water heater. Let's see if we have any comments. I build living space from 53-foot van. You see semis pull. Oh, yeah. No, you can do it, and I'm doing this in I'm just kind of poking fun because I made a video a while back that was, the title of it was "Shipping Containers Make No Sense." It's really, they don't make. My argument is that the 12-foot width is a human scale, and that also economically they don't make sense. I'm going to show that in a minute. But this is a little propane gas wall-mounted tankless water heater. I'm going to have a 100-gallon propane tank sitting out here. Hopefully it won't blow me up in the middle of the night. But and then you'd have, this is just a little through-the-wall heat pump. It's not a mini split. I'm going to do mini splits on the main cabin. See, the whole point to this shack is to have a minimal living space until I can build the main cabin over here, because I won't have the money to build that until I do some other stuff this coming year. I got to build a few houses for other people before I can do that. So, but you can certainly agree with me that a 20-foot shipping container couldn't do this, right? So my thing is that the other thing is, why is that? Oh, my table was a component. I messed up my table. Look, my table. What else did I mess up? I didn't realize my table was a component. So I was wondering what happened to my chairs. I'll have to fix that. Okay, so now you see this. You see the tight spaces. This is less than 3 feet. Well, when we're designing like hallways or what we call circulation, we always want like 3 feet. You know, so that's only 32 inches, and this is just a full-size bed. This is really, I'm a big guy. This is just for me, but for 2 people, you'd probably want a queen-size bed, which is going to push this push this table all the way over to the end. I have seen people put king-size beds in here, and you only have about a foot over here. There's no room for an end table. Okay, so then you come through here, and with a small table, you can get the 3 feet. I'll grant you that. But to have a bathroom with a full-size shower, and what you're seeing through that floor plan is the structure that's what all these lines are. That's not my floor plan. That's why I keep trying to adjust it so you don't see them. But this bathroom, it would have to be in a linear configuration like this. Where you saw a typical bathroom layout is where the 5-foot shower makes the width of the bathroom. This is your typical 99% spec house bathroom layout where you have a 5-foot shower, tub shower. This is a walk-in shower. Then you have your toilet and your vanity. And normally the wall would be right here, but I'm taking advantage of the 12-foot width and I'm putting my washer dryer there, and I'll have a little water heater on the wall there. See, and this is a nice size bathroom. Okay, this is I keep grabbing that. This is 11'8" by 5 feet. Okay, that's a normal big size bathroom. Okay, now but look here, I need to fix this. Wow, this desk chair keeps reappearing. I don't know. Okay, SketchUp, quit messing with me. There we go. I'm trying to get rid of that tiny office chair. So what you're seeing here are the lines below. This is where I've laid out the sheeting, the Advantech. So that's what those lines are. That's the floor decking. I haven't put the finished floor on yet. So I'm trying to say that so that you don't get those lines confused with circulation, because right here, see what I have now to my desk is 4.5 feet. Okay, So I can get up, move around, and I have all this space out here. Now the other thing I was going to do is if I don't use this table, I'm going to put a wood stove in this corner. Okay, I might do that, I might not. I don't need it, it would just be for fun. But this is the scale, the width of this is the scale that makes you feel like you're in a real room. I'm in my office right now, it's 12 feet. This feels like a big enough space for people to habitate in, okay? And with these two windows, this window is for my plant. I've got a money tree that sits on this table, and the tradition is, as long as I've had it for 20 years, as long as that plant lives, my company will live. That's the tradition. So it sits right in front of this window beside my desk, and this one is to give light, for the kitchen eating area. So and it's just a neat little feature. And I did a video on this door yesterday. See if we have any more comments. Oh wow, I got comments now. We get storms around here. If lightning hits the shipping container, you would be, yeah, you would, and you're an electrician too, so you'd have to ground the heck out of a shipping container. You'd have to have a grounding rod on every corner. As a matter of fact, back in the old days, when people were doing metal siding, you had to ground every corner of a house if you put the aluminum or any kind of metal siding on it, because the corners didn't. The different sides of the house, the metal didn't actually touch each other sometimes. So you had to ground every side of the house. Not strike. Tony isn't a fan of shipping container houses, but keeps getting design contracts. Yeah, it's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. Let's see. Rubber roofing on top of the sheep. No, it's not. Rubber roofing wouldn't do any good. The whole thing is a big lightning magnet. Holy crap, your videos have popped up for me in a long time. I just lost. Oh, okay. Watch you when you were doing 3D printing. Oh my goodness, 3D printing. That's like 9 years ago. What are the dimensions? Okay, good question. Let me look at these other questions right quick, and I'll tell you the dimensions. I've mentioned the 12-foot wide. It's 12 by 24 is the overall footprint of it. Glad to see you're still kicking. Yeah, I haven't stopped since 2006. That's how long I've been on YouTube. Not strike. Tony does a bit of everything these days. I'm trying to maintain my focus on my construction design and construction business. Okay, so when I'm looking at, but yeah, I mean, based on some experiences I had when I was younger, since Not Strike said that, you can see my Artisan UAP shirts, which you can buy. Actually, the camera's always backwards. I'm trying to hold it up so you can see. They should be under the live stream. But, oops, gotta adjust the camera back. Is that right? That's good enough. So, yeah, this is 12 by 24. Okay? It's a perfect size for one person, or you could even have two people in here if you wanted them. You wouldn't have much privacy. One thing you could do is if you did have two people, and I'm going to actually do this. I'm glad you brought that up. Or did you? I'm not really going to use this table. It was just there for diagrammatic purposes. I'm actually probably going to do like a double whammy on the C-1. If I don't do the wood stove, this is what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to have this space over here, and then so you can have two workspaces. Because really, this is really it's really just an office to live in. It's really all I'm looking at it. I mean, if I could figure out how to transport this thing around to bigger jobs, I would. It might be kind of fun to put this thing on a trailer. What I'm going to do is I'm building it on these sleds, And I'm going to have places where my crane guy, I went to high school with this guy, Mike Booker. He started B&B Cranes in Chattanooga, and I'm going to have 2 notches in a non-load bearing place, and I'm going to ask him where they need to go. I would say it would be the 2 like 6 foot in from each end, and I would have a notch there, and you could put your spreader bar all the way across and put it under the band. And so what would happen is those spreader bars would come out, stick out, and you'd tie straps to this thing, and I could lift it up and either put it on a permanent. What I was going to do is put it back here. I've got another 600 feet, I think. Why is it not? I'm not scrolling out. What is going on here? Where is this? Where's the creek? The creek disappeared. Oh, there it is. I'm looking the wrong way. This is a creek back here. I don't know what happened to my property line. What happened to my property line, man? Okay. So this is a creek running through here. I've got 2 or 3 different data sources I'm using. That's what all these different layers are to triangulate stuff. So this creek is from the soil map, and this one is from Google. So I know, between those 2 places, the average of that creek is pretty close. So what I would do is, don't pay any attention to this area. This is just where the soil scientist marked out a good place for both. All of this is good for septic tank, all this. But I would have a little road that comes down here, and somewhere around the creek, I would take this little cabin and put it back there. And then if I want to, I can always VRBO it, Verbo it, or whatever. Let's turn that stuff off, because it's always a distraction. So now, here's the main thing. Okay, so when I'm going to show you what I can buy for less. Okay, I'm going to turn on everything I can buy, and I've already priced it, and the prices have actually gone down since I priced it. You all know that we've got COVID prices going on. Let's turn the roof back on. Okay, all of the stuff that you're looking at, the framing, all that, I can buy for this right here. Look here, 38. I don't have tax on here. Let's do a tax calculation. Well, it's going to be 38. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt, and we'll say it's 3,800. Even though it's not going to be 3,800, it would be but $380, not 3,800. I'm going to go ahead and, this is normally what I do when I estimate projects. Is I consider 10% for the tax, just so I can not. Where's my dang format button? I'm not in Excel. Times this. Oh, I meant to say plus that, not times that. I was thinking I was going to do a percentage plus that. There we go. So 40. I priced it once in the height of COVID. What was that, a year ago or so? I priced it and it was $4,500. If you look at another video I did, you'll see. So that's how much the prices come down for about $400 on this right here, right? So for around, let's just say, $4,000. What was it? Yeah, $4,200. This, okay? Now, you're going to pay that for a good 40-foot shipping container, okay? And for that, you're not going to have any doors or windows, okay? Let's see, I'd have to add, this door is going to cost me $200. I've already priced it. The windows are about $150 each. That's $300. That's $500. So we're looking at Even if this costs the same as that, I'm still ahead. Okay? And I can build this, I don't know, in a few days. You know, up to the point where it's framed and got the metal roof on it. Okay? So, I mean, come on, people. I mean, if you watch videos, okay, on converting shipping containers, and I have another video, go watch it, installing windows and shipping containers. Okay, you got to cut out the metal. You got to weld in the frame. I actually have a non-welding system that it's kind of funny. Every time I do a video, I kind of, make it seem like it's easy. But what I'm trying to say is, when you're framing up this tiny shack, when I'm framing this up, I'm building the windows in the rough opening. Okay, these rough openings, I got to build this rough opening. This is what all this white stuff is the framing I'm going to do for this through the wall heat pump here. But all these openings will just be framed up whenever we're framing. It's no big deal. It's pretty fast. All these this whole thing will be framed up in a day. Okay. Then the next day I can put the siding and the roofing on it. I promise you. Easy. We framed up whole houses in a week. I know I can frame this up and put the roof on it in 2 days. Okay. So you're talking about, I don't know, really, even probably, I don't know what the new, we need to go, I wish I could go find the prices on you don't need the Tyvek, we're getting Huber to give us the zip. No, I don't like the zip. I don't like the zip system. What I like about Tyvek? And I thought that, what the irony of this is, and I'm glad you brought that up, Gary, because the irony is that one of the best products on this whole list is the single most expensive per item. Okay, and that is, I would pay $300 for that roll of Tyvek. Okay, that's a miracle material. Okay, and that's going to make this thing so airtight. I'm probably going to have to open the window. What happened there? That was weird. It's going to make this thing so airtight that this little tiny heat pump will. It's weird. My orbiting's acting funny. It's gonna. This little thing's gonna easily. This will. What is it? I forgot what the square footage is. It's 300. So 12. It's actually 12'3", because what I'm gonna do is I get the benefit of the header joist, the band here. So it's actually, if you're looking at gross square footage, and this is what we do in construction, well, let's just say it's 12. That's going to be easier. 12.4, I guess, times 24. 297 square feet. Now, to be fair, let's see what we get. Let's turn the roof off. I don't know what that was. It got stuck in my mouth. But let's do, I remember it was 11'8". So 8 divided by 12 is what, 0.897 something? Oh, wait, 666. Ooh, that's a bad number. 8 divided by 12? Oh, God. I need to change that. Made myself laugh. By 23.4. So that's 0.3. Yeah. 24.3 times 666. That's bad. 283 square feet. Okay. So let's see what we get here. We're gonna have, lay the phone down. We're gonna have 7'3". I remember this 7'4". I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because I remember that number from a previous. I was able to get 7'4" out of a shipping container, but still 7'4", guys. I mean, come on now, you can't live in that. I mean, you might as well live in a tent in the woods. So it's 7.3 times, what was it, 39? 39. 284 square feet, okay? So the square foot is comparable, okay? That's what's ironic about this, okay? The human scale is let's just look at the golden ratio, okay? If you ever studied design and architecture and the history of such, you will find out that there are scales in nature, ratios that make sense for nature, okay? And I haven't even, you know what, I haven't even checked to see if this meets the golden ratio or not. Let's just try it. I may have just done it by accident. I don't think so. 12 times 1.64, I think it is. That's 20 feet. So is that right? What is it? Is it 1.618? Is that what it is? I think it's 1.618. What is it? Yeah, there it is, 1.618. See, I'm not old yet. I can remember things. So 24.3 times 1.618. Oh, 12. You know what I hate about the iPhone is that you get, if you don't operate it just perfectly, 1.618. 19. So basically 20. So what it basically means is that since this is 12 in nature, a logical length would be 20, but we have 24, and I actually like this. I like this scale, and that's really what it's about. It's not, and you might say, well, that's being anal. No, what it is it's called understanding nature and how humans live and the human scale. Okay, and the way I look at it is, you need at least the length of two humans in head to head. You know, laying down. And I've done this on all the houses I've ever built. I've never built a room smaller than I mean, one for habitation, right? You got to have these bathrooms and closets. But when the room that you're going to be living in, you know, this is too narrow, okay? You're going to feel like a mouse in a maze, okay? It's just too narrow. And this doesn't even accentuate this, okay? Let's go back to this. Let's see, can I grab it? Yeah, let's go up 8 feet. Well, I got this section on. But when you get in here, let's bring this up, and I'll just demonstrate this. Let's turn on our section plane, and we'll raise it up. I had it down there low so I could work on the floor plan. Let's go up here. There's your roof. Now put yourself in here. Okay, we're gonna go down in here. I'm gonna try to get myself to where I can feel. Oh, that's funny. The hatch on the floor plan assumed to got to the walls. Can I get it arranged properly? Anyway, I think you get my point. You know, if you can reach out, if you can stand in the middle and reach out your arms and touch both walls, there's something wrong. Okay? Now I'm going to undo that because I don't like that wood grain hatch on the wall, so it's funky. So there is a demonstration, and I mean, a lot of the times I'm just talking about economics too, really, for the most. I'm trying to help people realize that that things are easier than you think. Okay, and you might say to yourself, "Oh, well, I can have a shipping container delivered out there, and that's it." No, that's the beginning of your problems. Okay. First of all, the containers that you get are going to be rusty. They're going to have holes in them. You're not going to get a pristine shipping container because the Chinese like their pristine shipping containers. The Chinese give you the ones that are rust buckets, okay? That's what you're going to get. And it's okay. This is made out of core 10 steel, right? This steel actually is made to get a haze of rust, and it doesn't bother it. That's why they make them out of that core 10 steel. As a matter of fact, the coolest shipping containers I've ever seen were the ones that the paint was stripped off of them, and the metal was allowed to rust a little because it looks kind of cool. But it just gets all over. You can't touch your house after that. It'll be all over you. But there's a sealer you can put. You can let it rust, and then what's it called? It actually converts the rust back to metal. What's it called? I forgot. I'll have to look it up. But when we have structural steel, sometimes that's been sitting out in a yard and we're trying to build something out of it, instead of scraping off or trying to get the rust off of it, we coat it with, it's like phosphorus something. Somebody knows. Who knows in the comments? Anyway, there's a, dang it. Anyway, I use so many different products I can't keep them straight. But anyway, it's a product where you put on raw metal that has rust on it, and it converts the rust back to metal. And it's pretty awesome. Let me turn off this section planes. So anyway, I thought I would just kind of share the floor plan, and I thought it would be kind of neat. Honestly, I'll be honest, all this stuff fits in there better than I thought it was going to, but I'm still maintaining that this is going to be dreary. You're going to feel like a cave dweller, okay? This building, even though it's small, you're not going to feel that way. You're just not. I mean, I'm sitting in the same size room right now, except this room isn't even as long as this one. This room is only right here. But it's the width that matters, okay? And that's what I'm trying to stress. The other thing I'm trying to stress is, too, that this is easy construction. Let's turn off the walls. Turn off the walls. And, hey, the door's not in the right layer yet. Let's turn off the floor plan. I get all these layers in my head where they are. Okay. Let's go back to the floor. And we'll turn off the decking. Where is it? Do I not put it in a layer yet? Oh, that's bizarre. Oh, I have floor sheeting. Duh, right there it is. Okay. So, you see, you take a couple of your buddies, you go out there, and I'll show some video. We're going to get started next week. Right now, I have 2 gravel strips, okay? They're about 3 or 4 feet wide, and they're level. We leveled them, okay? And that's what, don't know why it's doing that. It's acting funny. And so it'll be level, obviously, this way and that way. You take your buddies out there. You just go buy some 12-foot joists, and you just let them hang over. I've got this all planned out, right? Because I got the toilet drain sits here, and I was going to address this floor framing. And I've also got the shower. This is how I do my plumbing layout. I've got the toilet flange sitting there already, and I'll put a drain here for the shower. I'll just show you about where it's going to be. It's going to be about 3 inches off of this. Okay, then we'll turn this off. You see, my drain's going to work out just fine right there beside that joist. And then I've got a kitchen sink over here, which is right. But now this is a little different. I'm going to have the drain come up in the cabinet somewhere, I don't know, right here, so it can go wherever. Yeah, see, I've got these joists. The point I'm trying to make there is that if you're going to do something like this, you want to lay out your joist. You see how there's a space here that's not 16, that, you know, if you go from the end, it would typically be 15 1/4 from one end or the other to make it 16 inches on center. Well, don't worry about that. What you want to worry about is your plumbing layout, okay? Especially your toilet, okay? Your toilet drain is going to be, let's go here. Your toilet drain is going to be 12 inches off the finished wall, okay? So there's 12. You see, that's right in the middle, okay? And so that's the dimension that matters. You don't want to be, and when I had the joist laid out, like on regular layout, there was going to be a joist right there, okay? So you don't want to be taking a chainsaw to your toilet drain, okay? Now I like a little more space. I like 32 inches here, so that you can see right there. Looks like I missed it just a little bit, but I can fix that. It's no big deal. The critical dimension is the one off the wall this way. This one you can fudge it a little bit, okay? So when you're laying out your plumbing, we're actually going to do some of this plumbing before we put our sheeting, our floor decking down, okay? But the point I was trying to make is you can take this whole group of joists and move it back and forth, okay? And that's why I also you'll notice I did the floor decking layout. If I mark that right there, and then I turn off the floor sheeting again, oh, I need to adjust it. So what I had done is, I remembered as I was saying that, I adjusted it for something, I remember. But see now, what matters is the joist. I can go back and adjust this to match up. But the reason I did that, I laid that out, was to make sure I wasn't going to have too much waste on the sheets. Because what you want is, well, the piece that you cut off this end, since it's 24 feet long, can go down here. And see, and that's why it doesn't matter. That's why it doesn't matter that these are 16 inches from the end, right? So when I start my layout, I will start it out, either from this end it would be 9 inches, and then set ahead, what we call set ahead 16, you see? And then all the joists and everything will be in proper layout. Let's see if we have any questions. Braha, Tony, what size lumber for the skids? Okay, so I'm going to kind of cheap out a little bit on the joist. Actually, they meet the span requirements easily. I'm going to use two 2x10s. Actually, I decided I'm going to make this 4.5 inches. And before I forget, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to make this 4.5 inches, and because if we have to scoot this thing around, I want that thing to be beefy, and I'm going to bolt it together with lag bolts. I'm not just going to nail it, okay? So, and then what it'll be is, it'll be two 12-footers starting off, right? So you have a joint right in the middle, and then the next row will be a 12-footer. Let's do it from this side. The next row will be a 12-footer in the middle, spaced out, and it'll have two 6-foot pieces on the end. And then the final layer will go back to that two 12s from each end. So all the joints in the beam will be staggered. And then they'll be bolted together. Because what I want to be able to do is probably weld or put some big lag bolt hooks on here and slide. I want to be able to use that like a skid. I want to be able to slide it around if I have to, but most likely I'm going to have to get my friend with the boom to come and raise it up and set it where I want it when I'm done. Because I don't think I'm going to leave it where, there. Oh, so those are 2x10s. And those are 2x10s because I want that height off the ground to be able to do plumbing down here. There's going to be, the septic tank's going to be right here. And this is going to be turned. I've got it turned now so where I can work on it, because the drawing axis is this way. But when I get done working on the design, I'm going to turn it this way. This is 42 degrees off of the east right here, and this is all facing south this way. I want my southern exposure to come through these windows right here, which I have the walls turned off. I want this facing south, because my solar power system doesn't matter you say, well, why don't you have your roof? I don't actually like solar panels on my roofs. I like to put them on a ground mount somewhere. And over here, this is all too wooded for. I did a calculation. The 42 degrees. Like if I drew a line here, and then I drew the sun angle up, it was only like 1 point. The trees are so tall, the pine trees are so tall, it would shade any solar panels over here. But if I turn on this green, where does it say green? Google green. I have a Google view of this, and see this shade, this kind of line that comes down through here. That's my property line. Well, I've got this area right here. I can set solar panels facing south, which is, you can see my north arrow. There's my Artisan north arrow. That's south. I mean, that's north. So my solar panels can face south this way. This is an old logging road right here, and it's really not noticeable anymore except for just an indentation in the ground. But I can set my solar array over here, and so after that, you see, that way you can face the glazing, the side of the wall that you want to face south, and you don't have to worry about whether your roof is facing south or not. That way. Now in this case, the tiny cabin's roof would be facing south, but I'm not going to put. It's not big enough to put enough solar panels on. I mean, I could have maybe 6 on there, but I don't want any roof penetrations. That's the other thing. I don't like roof penetrations. I even put my plumbing vents out the wall. That's how anal I am about it. And if I have a little wood stove, let me turn that off. It's bugging me. If I have a little wood stove, it's going to come up and go out through the wall, and then go up the side, because I wouldn't leave it in here permanently. And but I got distracted, didn't I? I was going to tell you the walls. I mean the floor joists are 2x8 on 16-inch centers. And if you look at the if you're going to skid this around, I would put it on metal skids. Most likely I'm not going to skid it around. I have a friend who owns a crane company, and I would. You may have missed it earlier. I was talking about. Now you messed me up. What was I going to go? I was going to do Southern Pine. Span tables. So this is one of my favorite little websites. It's got the joist and rafter span tables, and sometimes, I kind of know what'll work, but I always show my customers this. I'm going to use this 40-10 loading here, and you can see here that 2x8 at 16. We use number 2, yellow pine for joist. So 2x8 at 16 inches on center will span 11'10". And I'm only really spanning like 9'8", because when you consider the span on a joist, you're measuring from the inside of this beam to the inside of that beam. That is the span. It's only 8'11.5". So you see, it's over-engineered. These would actually span just about the entire distance if I wanted them to. So I originally was going to do 2x10s, and then I realized that was kind of an overkill, and I could save about $100. About $100 doing away and doing 2x8s instead of 2x10s. So that's what I have on the material list. Should be 2x8s. Floor joist. Oh look, dang! I still have 2x10s on there. Gotta fix that. I'd accidentally ordered them, and they're not gonna be. Let's see. Okay, so I said $16 that day. Let's say Home Depot 2x10 pressure treated. 2x10, 8 feet. Now see, here's the thing. I would have to go to that's what it was. I couldn't get 2x10s and 12 footers. I was going to have to buy 16 foot 2x10s. And I think the pressure treated, here we go. I didn't even see that link there. So 2x10x8. You see, you can get 16s and 8s right now. This is one thing we're dealing with in the construction bit industry. You can only get certain things now. So I was going to have to buy 16 footers and either waste 4 feet or do with an 8-foot span. But you can see, now you can get 2x8x12 pressure treated. See, or was it at Lowe's? I found them. Here we go. So what is that? Is that really $23? Well, that's ground contact. I don't need that. There's 2 different grades of treated. They probably don't have anything but that. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with constant that kind of stuff, but it looks like I'm going to have to raise this up. But I don't need 30 of them either, so I'm going to put this at 20 because I don't. Anyway, I gotta go. Once I actually go the night before I go to the lumber store, I force myself to finish up the design, and then I go, revise the material list, and then go the next day and buy it. And I do that for all my projects. I always review my materials list the night before I order or buy anything. I review the design, and then I review the materials list. Let's see if anybody's got any other questions. Make it easy to pick up too. Yeah. See, that's the thing, and that's the key, Jennifer. Is I need this to be a self-sufficient job, or easy to do, because on my projects I build for other people, the houses I build, I just call up East Chattanooga Lumber and have them deliver it. Well, this is way out in the boonies, so I'm gonna have to haul it, like you said. In my truck, I have a tailgate extender thing. It's one of these. It's one of these things, and I can haul 16. I can haul 16-foot stuff with this thing. It goes in the trailer hitch mount thing, and then it's really kind of nice. But and they're heavy duties. I'll get out. It'll carry. I've had more than 400 pounds on it. But I can carry up to 16 foot. But I can carry these 12 footers easily in that case, because like I was talking about earlier, the new toy beds they put. The new beds on trucks are. Of course, my truck is 4 years old. It's got the 6.5 foot bed on it. I ordered it like that. Couldn't get it was going to be like a special order to get the king cab, the 4-door with an 8-foot bed. It was going to be like $50,000. I wasn't going to do that. So I did. Well, I was able to get a 6.5 foot bed, and then plus that extender thing comes out, and with that T-bar, you can haul some really long stuff. And that's the key. That exactly is that Barrett and I can run to Home Depot. We're going to get the floor. Now, a guy who helps me, Eric, you'll see him in the video probably when we're building it. He's got a trailer that he uses on the projects that he helps us on. Probably going to go and get all the stuff in that. Then we'll probably just go ahead and buy all the wall framing too while we're at it. So, let's see. Span between the deck of the truck. Span between the deck of the truck. Well, I'd have to look. You can easily get a 4-foot sheet of plywood in the back of the truck. I've got a camper top on. I've got a a topper on the back of it, but you can easily put a 4 foot wide with a couple, an inch or so, a couple inches on either side. What is this one? I don't know if this truck is the right scale or not. Let me see if it makes any sense. 5 feet 4. That kind of makes sense. We can Google it, I guess. But I just know that I can easily put, it does ride on top of the wheel wells, but it's no big deal. But see, this is the thing on a longer bed. On my bed, the wheels are back farther, so you can stick the plywood down here and let it ride up on the tailgate, and the wheel wells don't get in the way. So I wish they'd stop making those toy beds on trucks. Barrett's trying to talk me into getting a lightning, and I'm like, nah. When you haul it to the building. Oh, the beams. The beams are, 11 feet 8 apart. Yeah. 8 feet, 8 feet 11. But that would sit on a trailer. Those two, that would, the trailer would fit between those, and that's why they're not back farther. Well, there's two reasons. One reason is so this will fit on a trailer without it sitting on I don't want it, if it's on a trailer, I don't want it riding on the skids. I'd rather be evenly distributed on the joist. And then the other thing was the plumbing. I need the plumbing for the sink to come out. Where's my 2D plan? Yeah, that's what that line was. The plumbing drain is going to come out right here somewhere. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I added that other thing. That's glad you brought that up. I need to do this beam needs to be on this side. Cause I have a drain. I need all the plumbing to come down inside the runners, cause it's got to go over at an angle. And it's got to go down at a slight angle and connect up to the washer drain. Let's get out of the edit mode so we can see. There's going to be a washer and dryer, a washer here sitting on the floor, and the dryer is kind of cute. It sits up on. You can either wall mount it or put it on a shelf. It's like a small. Was it 3 cubic feet dryer? And just for one person, it's no big deal. But anyway, the washer drain will come down right here, which reminds me, the washer drain has to come in down on this side, go over this. The sink drain will come in and kind of Y into it, and then it'll go over and connect into the toilet, and then the plumbing drain will come. That's why the skids were there too. This one needs to go over. Glad you brought that up. Oops. That is the wrong. That edge right there needs to go right. What am I looking at? There we go. And so, then the shower drain will come over, and we're trying to tie into the side of this little stack coming down from the toilet, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Anyway, we'll have to work that out. That should be an interesting video there. I'll probably have to get my plumber friend to help me with that. But anyway, that's really the point of using SketchUp to plan everything out. Just, you're gonna forget something if you try to keep everything in your head. Just like a while ago when I said, I think I'm gonna make these 3 wide. I missed that. I didn't get that even. I didn't think about the BIM, the building information system, that I was screwing up. But that's why we use our three-dimensional CAD. All right, well, back up there about your plumbing. What? Yes, too far apart. Okay, back up there about your plumbing. Under the 2x10, you're going to crush all the plumbing. Well, no, one of the problems is, and that'll probably be down like 2 years down the road, so it's not that big a deal. I mean, I'm just going to have to disconnect the plumbing. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is use, have you ever seen the rubber fittings? You can even get elbows. So I'll have so I'll have, when this pipe comes down, have you ever seen a Studer vent? I keep wanting to go. A Studer vent is a vent that you can put on the, let's see if there's images of them being used under a sink. Yeah, you see here? You can put, well, that's not exactly, that's not exactly how I'm going to use it. What you do is you put it on a sink. Here you go. This is it right here. On a sink, this is exactly how it's going to go. This allows you to run the pipe down through the floor instead of in the wall, you see. So you put your Studer vent on top of this T, and it allows your sink to drain, right? Because when your water goes, it wants to create a vacuum. If you have water in this trap, you want to keep it there. That's the whole purpose of this trap, is to have water in it. It keeps sewer gas from coming back up, okay? The way you keep from your trap from being siphoned out is you have a vent, so that, and when the water drains, that column of water sucks air down, and there's a diaphragm up here with a spring on it. And when the water pulls that, the water will pull it down literally and allow air to come in. And of course, if you have a volume of water that fills up the entire pipe, that's the case. If you just have water going down the pipe, that's not the case. But in most cases, you would have a lot of water going down the pipe, and it would need a vent. And a lot of people think the vent is for the air to go out, but it's mainly so the air can be sucked in, because your water is draining down and pulling air in. Now it does, in this case, it won't allow the sewer gas to come out because it's got that little diaphragm up there. It's a little rubbery diaphragm looking thing. So anyway, didn't mean to bore you with all that, but the point to that was that's why I had to put that beam back on the other side, because there'll be there it is with my line. So right here, there'll be a pipe that goes down through the floor, and then right as I get to the bottom of the joist, it'll convert to these rubber drain fitting. See these? And what you do, you use this, okay, right here, and then you can detach you can detach the whole plumbing system from the house, from the thing. There'll probably have to be some cuts, like I'll have to cut this riser coming down, but again, that's if I move it. If I do move it, if I don't, I'll just leave it here for people when they visit, or whatever. I may turn it into my little solar shack. I may, this wall right here would be where all the control stuff is, the charge controllers and all that stuff, the inverters, whatever I've got, and maybe even the batteries. If nobody's living in here, I can store batteries in here. And there would be, that would be going out to the array. The array would be out here somewhere in the sun, and this might become just like a solar storage shed where somebody could still spend the night. So I'd leave as much stuff in here as possible, but maybe where my office was, my tables would be, that kind of thing. I don't know. otherwise, I'm going to take it out here next to the creek. I haven't actually been out here yet. We've been so busy clearing all this and getting this ready. We got the driveway in. It's all gravel. I got my power pole. If you saw my Instagram, I got my power pole up and it's approved by Sequatchie Valley Electric. And I'm excited about that. And see what kind of other... I know what you said. Sorry. The beams are site-built laminations, aren't they? Yes. Yeah, that's why I was talking about the different layers. One layer would be two 12-footers butted together. The next layer would be a 12-footer spread evenly on that joint with two 6-footers on the end. It's kind of like how we build a floor girder. We lap the joints on floor girders, so the joints on the floor girders never all line up. If there's like 2 or 3 different, 2x10s, none of them line up with each other. And I should have drawn that, but I didn't. If I could get 24-footers, I would, but that's going to be an expense and a headache I don't need. And since I'm making them 4.5 inches wide, I can just build it up and run lag bolts, through it. And then I'm going to use I may use joist hangers to attach the, actually like rafter ties. I may use rafter ties to attach the joist, because if I ever pick this thing up, I don't think I want to rely on nails, toenails from the joist into it to hold it on there. So, or I may just pick like 3 or 4 points, like one on each end, and then every 6 feet do a heavy metal strap anchor. But again, probably what I'll do is at 6 feet, I'll probably have a notch in this for a spreader bar. Because most likely what I would do is have my buddy with the boom truck come and pick this thing up and set it on a trailer and then haul it out here by the creek. So, have I talked enough? Does your water need to go into the septic tank? Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in not dumping it out in the yard, just because I've seen projects where that out in the rural areas, that spot's always muddy, and the grass is always greener. It's so obvious because the water always rises to the top. I'm just going to stick it in there. I'm going to dump it into the. I mean, a lot of people out in the rural areas don't do that. They'll dig like what you call it, a dry well, where you dig a big hole in the ground and fill it full of gravel, and stick your washer drain in there, and then cover it up with dirt. Fern Co. fittings, yes. Yeah, that's a brand. Yeah. Does your washer or water need to go? It used to be permitted in a rural area. I think 50-foot field line was okay. I'm gonna have two 80-foot runs on my. I need to check with my septic tank guy, but that's what I've got drawn now. I'm in this edit mode again. Let me get rid of all these guidelines. Yeah, this dash line was where I was trying to show my clearing guy where to clear it. Because we put a stake right here. I had the surveyor put me a stake right here at this 65. It's right at the corner of the house, 65 feet off the property line this way and 165 feet off that way. And so that allows me to run this septic tank at an angle where I can run both the house into it like that and the tiny shack into it like that. And the plan I had was to use the shower and the bath water to flush the toilet with. Well, I mean, water's really not that expensive. I mean, you'd have to take the water from the shower and the bath. I mean, and put it in a tank and then pump it back up to, unless it was on the second floor. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, 2/3 of the earth is water. I know that's looking at it sort of flagrantly, but I'm not going to worry. I don't use that much. I only use the toilet once a day and take a shower once a day. So anyway, shampoo and soap will clean the toilet. Not mine, it wouldn't. I got to use a scrub brush for mine. I know what you mean, though. And it's not a bad idea. It's just the logistics of that. Trying to accomplish that in my tiny shack would be hard, because first I'd have to collect that water in a tank, then I'd have to pump it back to the, to the toilet, and I just other ways of saving the earth. Just me being on the earth is good enough. Just kidding. But I'm not against conservation. I mean, the construction industry plants more trees than anybody on earth, and if you go look at the statistics, we actually have more trees now on the earth than at pretty much any time in the history that we know of. So we've done really good. I mean, humans have done pretty decently, and this is what I don't understand, without getting into the politics of it, is that we have done pretty good at conservation in some areas. But anyway, I don't want to get into that argument. Use ram pump to pump water uphill easily, the land to the house. Well, I've already paid for it. I already got my water meter. I've already got this figured out, man. The guy that I paid to clear this is going to dig me a trench and put my water line in, and it's only 200 feet from the road to here, so I only have to run 200 feet of water line, and the price of doing that is probably half the price of digging a well. I know a guy has a ram pump, or I used to. I don't know if he's still alive. This was like 20 years ago, and he was an older guy. All he did was fidget with that ram pump. Like, it would freeze up in the winter and all. And you know what else? The other thing we did, Barrett and I, if you go watch the video where we went and visited the Mennonites, they're like Amish. They had ram pumps coming out of there. And they had all these water lines running through the trees, and it was funny. It was kind of funny. So the ram pumps are cool, but I would think a good use for ram pumps would be like for cattle or irrigation, or something like that. I don't know that I try to live. I mean, obviously, if I had to, I would try to live off of a ram pump, but in my case, I don't need to. It's for me, the guy who's clearing my property offered to basically within the price of the clearing, and we had a big ass sorry that's the only way I can describe it. If you go look, I need to do some more video. I need to look on my phone and get all the video off of it and do one big video, but it was thick. It was thick in here, and he's such a nice guy. He included digging the trench and running the water line over here, and then all I gotta do is pay him to run, the temporary line to the tiny shack. And he's even gonna put me a frost-free, the yard, the old, I forgot what you call them, the hose beds that stick up in the yard. They're frost-free. Well, being off grid doesn't mean you don't have to have permits. I mean, technically, if you live in a municipality, that it depends on what the municipality says, right? You can get by with it. You can probably get by with it. That doesn't mean that permits aren't required, right? Even in Sequatchie County, where you think it's the freest county in the country, they still want to do. They still want to. They had to inspect my pole, the little pole I built for the power, the 200 amp service, and of course they're going to inspect the septic tank and the field lines, and then they want to do the rough-in inspection on the electrical. So, even if I had solar power, technically speaking, I would have to get them to. If I want to live in Sequatchie County, I would, and like I say, I could get by with it, but I'm in the industry. When you're in the industry, I'm actually a certified building inspector since 1989. So when you get caught up in the industry, you do tend to get caught up in the idea that some of this, some things are like you want some small protections there for people who don't know any better, If you don't want just anybody going out and doing electrical work for people, just and who don't know what they're doing, and then because you're talking about life and safety with electrical, people can get shocked or you can burn down a house, So to have just one or two inspections is no big deal. The electrical permit was $35. Yeah, it's no big deal. But yeah, most people who are going to be off grid would, have the knowledge to do their own electrical work. And I'm not against you. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm not in the camp where no permits are needed. Totally. So anyway, see what happens when you get caught up in regulations and politics. It stymies you. So anyway, I think let's turn on everything, make it look good before we go. We're gonna have our little metal roof. Where's my walls? Got a wall cladding, and so there we go. We'll turn off we'll leave this on. Where's our 2D plane? We'll leave this on. Put that back on. So I can delete this. Now I don't need this anymore. So anyway, I just thought it would be neat to compare. So I guess the bottom line is we ended up with about the same amount of square footage as this. The cost of this is going to be comparable to that, but the scale of this is more on the human scale. This is more rat trap-like, rat maze-like. And there's actually, you're going to end up spending more money. Like the thing, I'm actually being nice about this because these shipping containers, where is that? Show section planes. There we go. These shipping containers that will cost the same as what I've got here, right? And it's done. It's got doors and windows in it. This has no doors and windows. The other thing you're going to have to do is frame out the inside to put insulation in there. If you try to live in this without insulation, you're going to be living in a tropical rainforest. Okay, literally, depending on where you are in the summer or the winter, if you try to heat and cool this thing from the inside and you don't have insulation, you're going to have sweat. They actually make these things that hang in shipping containers. What is the chemical that they hang in there and they absorb moisture? Okay, I forgot what they're called, but that's the thing. And they hang them in there when they're shipping your stuff. If they didn't do that, all your boxes and stuff would be moist, nappy when they came out of there. So you have to insulate it. Okay. And then that means you got to frame it to put the insulation in. So anyway, I don't want to harp too much on shipping containers, but I do want to say that this is a much better a much better idea. All right, so I'm going to sign off now unless anybody else has. Desiccant, thank you. See, I have smart people watching my videos. Yeah, and they got the big ones. They got the big ones. What's it called? Oh, there's 2 C's. Yeah. And then if you go for shipping containers, they have these big ones. See, look how big they are. And they're like 100, if you wanted to buy them, they'd be, $168. But they're huge. These are, I think they're like 3 or 4 feet long. How big are they? They are, the ones I've seen are big. They're pretty long. Like this, and they got a hanger. They hang in there. And so, I mean, the point of that is that, it's a metal box, and with temperature fluctuations, it's just like this glass, condensating when I've got a cold drink and it's warm in the room or whatever. It's going to collect condensation on the inside. And one of the things about my little through-the-wall heat pump is it's a condensating, it'll have a drain. And in the summertime, you'll see probably a constant little flow of, I'm going to put a little pile of gravels out here because of that. Right, so I'll be taking the moisture out of mine. I mean, you could do the same thing, but you wouldn't be able to, your heating and air conditioning system wouldn't collect all of that. You would have, I've heard stories of water literally dripping on people off the ceiling in shipping containers where they tried to live in them and without having insulation in them. And what's kind of funny, because you see in these architecture magazines, no thanks on that. I like your tiny yeah. In architecture magazines, and this is really kind of what gets me. The reason I do these videos about shipping containers is nobody's really honest about them. You'll go to an architecture site and you'll actually see the painted walls on the inside, and then it'll be all plush and decorated and highly designed interiors, and they won't say a word about condensation or insulation. Maybe they got super duper heat and air systems in them. Maybe if you had, the thing about the mini splits is some of them are condensating and some are not. So you would definitely have to get one that you and the way is that if the head of the mini split doesn't have a drain tube coming off of it, then something's wrong, because all that moisture is going to be left inside your house. And that's the only thing about non-circulating, non-centralized systems, heat and air systems, is that you don't necessarily always get the removal of moisture in the air, which is pretty important on the inside of your house. You want to maintain about 55%, something like that. I forget the exact golden ratio as far as condensation on the inside. But anyway, I have rambled for a long time, and unless I have any other questions, I'm going to, what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this. No, I'm not going to save it as a different file name because I fixed some things and I need to remember. I'm going to leave that, leave my skids that way, and whatever else. I'll probably just delete all this junk. So anyway, I'm excited. Hopefully this week we will start framing on this, and you'll see how easy and fast it is. The workflow is going to be, we will frame the floor, deck it, do the rough plumbing that I need to do so I don't have to crawl under there to do it. I mean, you won't be able to crawl under there. And then we'll frame the walls, and then I'm going to wrap it with Tyvek. Okay, and then I'm going to put the Tyvek over the studs, and then I'm going to put the T111 is going to act as the wall sheathing and the siding over. Believe it or not, a lot of houses in the 70s were built like that, the spec houses. it was kind of crazy, and we didn't use 5-deck either. The first contractor I worked for was this Jewish builder, and I can tell you some stories. It was cheap. It was like T111 over studs that took 24 inches on center, just T111 straight to the studs, and the windows were nailed on top of the T111 instead of behind them. So anyway, this should be an interesting little build, and maybe I'll tell some stories as we go along. Daniel, where are you going to put the landing pad for the visitors? You mean the helipad? Or do you mean the front steps? The helipad there's enough room to land here. What do you need? Like 50 feet for a helicopter to land? What is this? That's 68 feet. The only thing they might have to do is get their props. What is it? 30 feet? How big are the props on a helicopter? You can probably land right there. They just have to be careful. You know, Donald Trump. I'm going to put a landing pad there for him to come visit me. That's pretty funny, Daniel. I guess that's what you were talking about. But anyway, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be this is a dream I've had since I was, 18 years old, literally 18. When I first when I joined I went to a trade school in high school. 10th and 11th grade, I went to a building trade school. Half a day I went to high school, half a day I went to a building trade school. And ever since then, I said, someday I'm going to build myself a little cabin in the woods. And I've already bought the land. That happened a few months ago. Now I'm going to build this little tiny shack. And I had to go out in a rural area, like we were talking about earlier, because of the code situation. I got all that worked out. And so I'm going to build this little tiny shack and live in it. And then I'll save up some money and I'll start working on my main cabin. I may do some redesign on this. This was just mainly to get a mass. I may do actual logs. I'm not sure. That's going to be more expensive. So I may just come up with a cool siding scheme to do on it. But I'm going to do this big, and you can see I haven't, that's the metal roof trim. Anyway, I've been messing around with this, but I'm going to do this big flying gable out here. This is probably going to hang over even farther than this. I'm going to buy me some big old timbers, and I'm going to see how far they'll stick out. Maybe about 6 or 8 feet. But anyway, I'm going to quit rambling because I feel like that's what I've been doing for 2 hours. The Taliban might drop in for dinner. Yeah, it's funny. I ain't gonna tell you where I'm gonna hide my AK, okay? I've got secret plans for them. I might tell you, Richard. I'll show you when you come visit me. If you ever get the Corona block off your passport. That's funny. But anyway, like I said, I'm finally going to make it. And it's what's funny is I thought to myself, can I do it by 50? And I didn't make it by 50, but I'm going to make it I'm 59, I'm going to make it by 60. So I only missed it a little bit. But I'll be, and I want to encourage younger people, buy yourself some land now, okay? Even if you're living somewhere, you're renting an apartment, just go out and buy it, put yourself a down payment down, pay on it for 10 years, pay $100 a month on it or something. Get it paid for. Plan ahead. Don't invest your money in this crypto crap. NFTs. Come on now. Buy yourself some dirt. Okay? Dirt is more valuable than pixels. Okay? I promise you. The view, if I could show you the view, I will show you the view. If I got any pictures, do I have any pictures on my Instagram? I'll just do a quick plug for Instagram here. This is not a plug. I just want to show you some pictures. Where's Tony? Let's go here. Here we go. Look at this. Look at that beautiful forest. And I had to cut a driveway through it. I felt so bad. I felt like, what's his name? Dang, I can't even think of his name now. Anyway, I felt bad cutting these trees down. But I had to get back there, man. So, sorry. Let's see, here's where we got the gravel down. Let's see there. Where's another good picture? Oops, that was Christmas. Let's see. There's the money tree. Got to keep it alive. It's been alive for 20 years. That's the tradition. As long as it's alive, my company will be alive. That's that tradition. I thought I had more pictures of there's a original design for the tiny cabin. Was going to be an asymmetrical roof. And that's old. Let's see. I got too many Sawyer. There's Richard. I got too many Sawyer pictures on here. This is the last house we built. It's pretty close. It's about 5-7 miles away. Built this house for a guy, for John. There's Sawyer. There's my buddy Sawyer. Got the Pink Floyd shirt on. I was really proud of Barrett for that. So I thought I had more pictures of the site. I'll have to put. There's my 200 amp service. Gary'd be proud of that. I got when the inspector. This is supposed to be an RV pole, air quotes, and I modified it, and it's just got breakers in there. And the electrical inspector was like, "What's that? Where's your RV plug?" And I said, "Well, I'm not going to have an RV." He said, And he looked at it, and he didn't ask. And I learned this a long time ago in construction. You only say what you don't talk. Just be. Unlike now, where I'm rambling on the construction sites with inspectors, it's And so he was like, "Well, all right, boy, I'll give you a sticker." So there's my little sticker. That's 200 amps. He was like, "What do you need a 200 amp service for?" And that's when he brought up the RV, and I was like, "Well, what did I say? I said something about when I went to Chattanooga Electric to buy this combined. It's a combiner. It's got the meter base and the panel. It's got the breaker slots for it, and it's all built into one thing. I said that's what they had. So that was a little fib, but they did. It was what they had. They had it because I bought it. So anyway, I thought I had more pictures, but next time I will have more pictures, and because I'm excited. If you would have installed the landing pad, you could have saved the trees. Daniel, you missed the part where I mentioned that the construction industry plants more trees than anybody on earth. Even Al Gore doesn't plant as many trees as we do. Okay. In Texas, we can get 400 amps for a resident. I'm going to get 400 amps. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you said that, Daniel, because when the guy from Sequatchie Valley Electric showed up out there, he said they were going to run the primary over there to that pole. It's not a secondary, so I can get 400 amps. It'll be because that was actually the ultimate goal. Who's texting me now? Oh, I gotta go pick up my tortillas at Walmart. Because the shop, the back part of the obviously this should be a given, right? That's the wrong button. Where's the roof? Got too many layers. This is the shop back here, right? The whole back of the house is going to be the shop. So I need probably 150 amps back here. So, and then I'll have I'll probably leave. I'm going to have 100 amps here to begin with. I'll probably leave, 60 out here. and then I'll have the rest of it. Anyway, that way I'll have enough for all three spaces: the shop, this living area, and this to maintain this. I won't need it. I won't need that 100 amps out here when I move into here. I'm obviously not going to change the breaker panel out, but I've never seen your channel or anything, but careful doing this on your video. People are crappy and will call or report you. Oh, what are you talking about? I didn't get away with anything. It's all legal. It was inspected. It's perfectly legal. It's just the reason I was acting that way is because it's an overkill. Most people put up RV poles, only put up like 60 amp panels. It's an RV pole. It comes, you can buy them. They're a meter base, and then there's a place for like a 50 amp or 30 amp plug, for the RV, and then they got maybe another breaker or so for the GFCIs you have to have on the bottom. You have to have two GFCIs on the bottom of that pole, on the bottom of the panel. That's what an RV pole is. If you look it up, you'll see. So, but the reason the reason I was kind of hem-hawing was because I had overkilled it. I wasn't trying to get away with anything. The inspector was like, "What do you need 200 amps right here for?" That's what he was questioning me about. And what he didn't know was I wanted to run 100 amp underground, cable over to the tiny shed. Yeah, no, ultimately, I haven't done anything wrong. If I'm guilty of overkilling, that's really all it is. But the truth of the matter is, I'm embellishing a little bit here because I had already talked to 200 amps for UFOs, baby. The truth of the matter is, that was the state electrical inspector, but I had already talked to the guy from Sequatchie Valley Electric about what I wanted to do, and he said it was okay. And they are the ones who actually run the overhead, so they were the people I needed to, make happy. And again, it's all overkill. There's nothing, I'm not sliding the code or anything, Most people wouldn't go through the expense to put 200 amps on an RV pole. But what it'll allow me to do, like I said, is it gives me the option of keeping the tiny shack here, which will be rotated at this configuration. Like I said earlier, this is just like this now because of the drawing axis. When I'm through drawing on this tiny shack, I'll turn it. It's going to be faced 42 degrees off of this east here, this way. It's going to be facing kind of that way. So anyway, I've got some video, and I'm going to show it next time I do a live stream. But yeah, I know it probably, the way I made it sound, Gage probably made it sound. That's why I said I was embellishing a little bit, because I probably made it sound like I was trying to get by with something when really I was trying to cover up my overkill, because I was trying not to bring attention to it being an overkill, if you know what I mean. Because my experience with inspectors is that if you don't fit right in the slot that they want you to fit, even if it's an overkill, they don't want to see overkill either, right? They want you to fit right in that slot that they have in their head. They really just want you to do it the way they want you to do it. And so, and the other truth of the matter is that there's always like a long story behind anything, right? The truth of the matter is I went to Valley Plumbing and Electric to buy what he wanted me to buy, and they didn't have it. They were like everything else right now. They're 2 or 3 weeks getting stuff. So I went to Chattanooga Electric and just bought the parts. And I went to go because I had to go pick up my, you know how you can call and get your tortillas, your beans and rice at Walmart ready to be picked up, and that's what I did. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate all the questions, and when you were talking about the way you had to set up the inside and didn't want it to look. Yeah, I didn't know that was. Oh yeah, and so even the tiny shed will be the code. I mean, naturally, it's kind of hard when you've been in the industry like I have for 40 years. It's kind of hard not to. I would have to think not to do it by code because we've always kind of overkilled everything anyway. So, I mean, that's the thing. I'm in the habit of building to code because I've been in the industry my whole life, basically. So I would have to think otherwise. You saw me, I don't know if you were here earlier, I even went and showed the span tables for the joist, So, there won't be anything that doesn't meet code. Because I mean the main thing there you want to do is maintain some kind of standard, because at some point I may want to move. I may want to buy more property. This is only 4 acres. I'd like to have more like 20, so I can get deeper in the woods. But but I may be stuck here. You don't need the government's permission anyway. You don't want to have it, but unfortunately we have to have. We've got to that point to where we've kind of done it to ourselves through our voting habits. We keep electing people who create these regulations. So anyway, I want to thank you guys. It was fun having you guys making the comments, because normally, and that's why I do the live streams, because normally I'm just drawing away. It's boring. I don't have anybody to share with, but I appreciate it, and I will see you next time.